Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name's Amanda. I am 33 years old and I have a 14-month-old little baby boy named Chase, and I am currently pregnant with baby number 2. I am so thrilled. I put a 0 to 4 week pregnancy update on my YouTube channel, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. Not a ton had happened in those first 4 weeks. You're technically not even really pregnant until you know, the last 2 when you're in the 2-week wait. And I really didn't have that many symptoms, so nothing like blazing like, oh my gosh, I definitely think that I might be pregnant this month. So when I found out, I was super excited. Despite those first 4 weeks and not having really any symptoms, I was like, maybe this pregnancy is gonna be totally different, because my first pregnancy, I for sure felt so different in my body just physically when I found out that, you know, everything kind of like changed. And this time, I really didn't have any of those major symptoms, so I'm thinking like, maybe this is gonna be a breeze. Maybe I'm not gonna have the morning sickness that I did last time, and you know, it's just gonna be a totally different experience. Anyways, this week I'm gonna share with you 5 to 6 week pregnancy update, and unfortunately, I did start feeling pregnant and getting all of those like first trimester icky like feelings. Let's jump right in. So at 5 weeks, the baby is the size of an apple seed and is only 0.13 inches long. So my notes basically say that I felt more tired than normal. I was going to bed around 10 p.m. instead of my usual like 11 p.m. and the nausea had started. And it wasn't so bad that, you know, I couldn't get out of bed or I was throwing up or anything, but it was just this unsettled feeling in my stomach. And I just didn't really feel like eating. Like nothing sounded good. I just felt a little bit off, and you know, I just felt a little queasy like for the most part in the morning. It would continue throughout the day until about 2 p.m. and then I would start to feel a little bit better. But there were a few things that I did to kind of combat that. I would get up and I would eat a piece of toast with just butter on it, which would help just settle my stomach a little. And I would also drink this tea. It's ginger, peach, and turmeric. Sounds a little bit strange, but it actually tasted really good, and it helped reduce the nausea. I mean, I wouldn't say that it completely made it go away, but it made it a little bit more bearable combining with the toast in the morning. Another thing, I had really strange aversions to stuff in week 5. So prior to week 5, I was obsessed with eating scrambled eggs with sriracha on top of it. Like, I really love spicy food, and I had just become so obsessed with eggs and sriracha. I literally was eating it every single day for, you know, as long as I can remember, months. And so the thought of sriracha during week 5 on eggs literally would make me gag. Like, I couldn't even look at the bottle of sriracha without being like, you know. So I didn't want any of that. Aside from the eggs and the sriracha, I wasn't having like specific aversions to things, but if I was craving something one day, I would eat it, and then the next day I completely, like, I couldn't even think about that food without wanting to throw up. So I thought that that was kind of weird. You know, like the thing that I'm craving one day makes me grossed out the next day, but that's what it was. I had the cravings were a lot different with this pregnancy. Like, typically last time I was pregnant, I was craving like fast food, like just crappy food with no nutritional value. This week, week 5, I was craving fruit, which I am not a fruit person whatsoever. Like, I actually dislike a lot of fruit. There's only a few that I like, and for whatever reason, I wanted to eat fruit that week. I also was craving vegetables, and that's a weird thing to crave, I think, in general, but I was craving oatmeal. I typically don't eat oatmeal. I like oatmeal, but I usually will eat eggs instead of like oatmeal in the morning, but I was craving oatmeal, so I was eating that. Refried beans, a really strange one that I was craving. I like refried beans, and you know, if I'm having Mexican or something like that, I'll eat it, but I just really, for some reason, wanted refried beans that week, and so I ate those. Hamburgers, another thing. That was different. That was actually the same as when I was pregnant with Chase, because I usually don't eat a lot of meat, especially red meat, but with my first pregnancy, I was craving burgers like all the time, and just like meatballs and like red meat, you know, not steak necessarily, but like burgers and meatballs and things like that. And that was the same thing here. I just like kept on wanting hamburgers for dinner. And smoothies were another thing. And I occasionally have, you know, like a protein shake, like a smoothie with protein powder and, you know, peanut butter, strawberries, like some fruit, that kind of thing. And, but I don't ever crave those. I usually just eat that because, you know, I'm trying to be healthy, or I just worked out or something like that. And so I was really into smoothies that week for some reason. I also was still enjoying coffee. Like, coffee was a weird thing with me during my first pregnancy. I am such a coffee lover. I absolutely love iced coffee. You know, before getting pregnant, I would have a cup of coffee every single day, or have an iced coffee every single day. And during week 5 for this pregnancy, I was still into coffee, but that actually changed going into week 6. So those were my main things for week 5. Not terrible. I still felt pretty good. You know, it was slight nausea. It wasn't like serious morning sickness or anything like that. So let's move to week 6. Things got a little bit different. So the baby is the size of a sweet pea, and it's 0.25 inches long, so still itty bitty. So this week I wrote that I was always nauseous in the morning, and as soon as I got up, I literally would have to eat 2 pieces of toast, just like with butter. And then I think I would usually do 1 piece of toast with butter, and then the second piece of toast I had butter and like a little bit of jelly. So I had to eat that literally, like, or else I couldn't function. And you know, I have to get Chase up in the morning and get him to daycare and log on to work and all that stuff. So I was really not feeling well whatsoever. And I was also feeling really tired and just unmotivated. So I think I used to work out, or I guess about 3 to 4 days a week prior to getting pregnant. And week 6, I think I maybe worked out like 1 or 2 times, and then I couldn't. I wasn't motivated to do it. I was feeling tired. I was feeling so nauseous that, you know, the last thing you want to do when you're feeling nauseous and exhausted is to work out. So I completely, like, I wasn't even doing any walking, nothing like that. So cravings. I was definitely craving salty and savory foods. I was sick in the morning, so didn't even want to think about food aside from the toast that I was eating. And I was also kept on drinking that tea the ginger tea that I mentioned. But later in the day, when I was starting to feel a little bit better, of course I wasn't craving, you know, healthy food. I wanted McDonald's and Chipotle and pizza and all of those things. So to be completely honest, I indulged. I went to fast food restaurants and I got that stuff because that's what appealed to me, and that's what I wanted to do. So anyway, I was also craving unsweetened iced tea with lemon, and like anything with lemon I wanted. So I would, throughout the day, I would drink water with lemon in it, and that's normal. I always do that, but like it tasted a little bit better for some reason, like pregnant, I don't know. Aversions. I wanted nothing to do with eggs, and chicken. The thought of chicken just made me want to gag. Another thing is that I started to not really want to drink coffee in the morning. So my love of coffee started to like just taper back, and I just stopped drinking it really. I would have tea instead, and that's really it. So those were the main things during week 5 and week 6. I would say overall week 5, you know, it wasn't awful. The nausea was like manageable. I was still able to like get through the day and everything. I was still working out at this point. Week 6, the pregnancy symptoms started to kick in, and you know, the fatigue wasn't too bad, but I was feeling extra tired and just like not motivated. I wasn't sleeping terribly. I was sleeping normally as I used to. I wasn't going to the bathroom frequently at night or anything like that. My boobs felt fine. That was another thing in my first pregnancy. I remember like my boobs started to feel sore around this time, but it hadn't happened to me yet. And other than that, yeah, just starting to feel those first trimester like ickies. So that's all I have for week 5 and 6. Week 7, I am so excited. I have my first ultrasound appointment, and I have a new doctor this time. So there's a whole thing. I'll go into that when I make my next vlog, and hopefully I'll capture some footage of the ultrasound and share it with you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here, please subscribe. I would love for you to join me on my pregnancy journey with baby number 2. If you are TTC right now, I am sending you prayers and baby dust. And if you're pregnant, leave me a comment below. Let me know how far along you are and what baby you are pregnant with. And if you are in your first trimester too, and you're feeling any of these like symptoms, mamas, I hear you, I feel you. It is probably like the worst feeling in the world. It's almost like you have a day-long hangover and there's nothing you can do about it except for eat crappy foods. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will check in with you next time. Bye.